Hello, and welcome to the Polyglot Files. My name is Michael, and today we're doing another episode of Languages of the World! Each video in this series looks at a different country on Earth and explores the languages spoken there. Today's video will be on a country that is actually way more linguistically diverse than I originally thought it was. Russia. And why did I choose Russia for today's episode, you ask? Well, I recently started a vlog series following me learning Russian from scratch, and I figured I should learn a little bit more about the country where Russian is predominantly spoken. You can check out the first vlog of me learning Russian here. What I didn't realize is that there are literally hundreds of languages spoken in Russia. Even though Russian is the official language on a national level, there are actually 25 other co-official languages in various Russian republics. Wait, Russian republics? Yeah, that kind of confused me too, so we're going to have to do a little bit of a geography lesson before we can do our linguistic lesson. First of all, the Russian Federation is divided into 85 federal subjects. A federal subject is kind of like a state or a province, but there are actually 6 types of federal subjects, each with varying levels of autonomy and representation before the Russian government. 22 of these federal subjects are called republics, and these are the places I want to focus on. Each Russian republic was specifically created for an ethnic minority, for the purpose of autonomy and ethnic unity. Because of this, many Russian republics actually have their own official languages in addition to the national language of Russian. Okay, so enough geography, let's go back to languages. So as I previously stated, Russian is the official language throughout all of the Russian Federation, but there are 25 other co-official languages that are spoken within the Russian republics. Since listing all 26 of the official languages of Russia would be a pretty long and monotonous video, I have instead decided to look at each language family within Russia as a whole. First up, we have our 3 Indo-European languages that are official in Russia. The first Indo-European language, of course, is none other than Russian. Russian is an East Slavic language of the Indo-European language family, and it is spoken by 137.5 million speakers in Russia. That's 95% of the Russian population. In Russia, Russian is the main language for government, education, and the media, and 97% of students in Russia receive their education mostly in Russian or completely in Russian. Russian uses a Cyrillic alphabet, itself sort of adapted from the Greek alphabet, and Russian has 3 genders as well as 6 grammatical cases. While Russian is mostly considered a subject-verb-object language, due to its heavy inflection, Russian actually has more of a free word order than other SVO languages. In that way, it's very similar to a language like Latin. Further, there is a fairly high level of mutual intelligibility between Russian and Ukrainian, our second Indo-European language spoken in Russia, and even though it may be a little bit of a touchy subject recently, some actually think that Ukrainian may be a dialect of Russian. However, it's more likely that Ukrainian and Russian probably just form a dialect continuum. The third Indo-European language spoken in Russia is Altaic, an Indo-Iranian language spoken in North Ossetia, Alania by about 450,000 people. Altaic is about as far away from Russian as you can get. However, Altaic is written with the Cyrillic alphabet anyway, as are many other languages spoken in Russia. Our next 6 languages are the Caucasian languages, and while it is tempting to say that these 6 languages are similar simply because they fall into the same language family, the term Caucasian actually has more to do with geography than with linguistics. In fact, these 6 languages are only called Caucasian languages because they are spoken mostly in the Caucasus Mountain region. Further, the Caucasian languages in Russia can be subdivided into 2 separate language families. 4 of these languages are Northwest Caucasian, or Pontic languages, and 2 of these languages are Northeast Caucasian, or Caspian languages. The Northwest Caucasian languages are Abaza, Adiga, Cherkess, and Kabardian, and they are spoken by about 1.5 million people in Russia. These languages are extremely interesting because they only have about 2 to 3 vowel sounds. Meanwhile, they have 50 to 60 consonant sounds. In fact, these languages have some of the biggest consonant inventories of any language outside of Southern Africa. Moreover, the 2 Northeast Caucasian languages, English and Chechen, are no less interesting. In fact, Chechen falls on the opposite end of the phonetic spectrum. Instead of having no vowel sounds like the Northwest Caucasian languages, Chechen actually has 44 vowel sounds. Next, we reach Russia's 10 Turkic languages. As you might have guessed, these languages are related to Turkish, a language spoken in Turkey. These languages include Altai, Bashkir, Chuvash, Crimean Tatar, Karache-Balkar, Kawkaz, Nogai, Tartar, Tuvan, and Yakut. The Turkic languages are remarkable in the sense that they all have the same basic characteristics: a subject, object, verb, word order, a lack of grammatical gender, and the use of null subjects. A language with a turned-on null subject parameter is one that allows speakers to drop the subjects of their sentences, much like the speakers of Italian or Spanish can do. Furthermore, it was once thought that the Turkic languages were part of a larger language family, the Altaic languages, one that would connect them with Japanese and Korean. However, today it is thought that there just isn't enough evidence to link the Turkic languages with languages like Japanese and Korean, but the debate still continues. Next, there are 5 Uralic languages spoken in Russia: Erzya, Komi, Hilmari, also known as Meadow-Mari, Maksha, and Udmurt. Being Uralic, these languages are also related to languages like Finnish or Estonian or Hungarian. The Uralic languages are known for having a very intense case system. In fact, Komi, one of the languages spoken in Russia, has 27 cases. Furthermore, these languages have no grammatical gender, some languages even going so far as to not make a distinction between the he and she subject pronoun. Finally, Russia is home to 2 Mongolic languages, Buryat and Kalmyk. These languages are spoken actually pretty close to the Mongolian border, where Mongolian is spoken. In terms of speakers, there are 350,000 Buryat speakers in Russia. However, there are only about 80,000 Kalmyk speakers. Because of this, UNESCO has declared Kalmyk as being endangered, despite its recent revival efforts. But it's not all doom and gloom. Fun fact! Return of the Jedi sound designer, Ben Burt, was actually so impressed by the sound of Kalmyk that he based the fictional Ewok language on it. Further, like the Turkic languages, the Mongolic languages were actually thought to be part of a bigger language family, the Altaic languages, but that relation is still not confirmed. Lastly, in addition to all of Russia's official languages, UNESCO believes that there are actually 150 endangered languages spoken in Russia as well. Furthermore, it is reported that 15% of Russians can speak a language that is not at all native to Russia, with 11 million students having studied English in the 2013-2014 school year. Whew. Okay, my head is spinning. And that concludes another episode of Languages of the World! If you haven't already checked out the other 2 videos in this series, I'll link to them here. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, as well as share this video. Thanks for watching the Polyglot Files. See you next time!